The 2023 psychological horror thriller film that is The Strange Darling. The plot of the movie begins in, in the in the heart of a very expansive, fog-shrouded forest, where the eerie silence amplifies the kind of tension that built in the scene. A disoriented woman lies sprawled on the forest floor, and her breath is racked as she surveys her bloody hands and torn clothes, and her face is itched with fear and confusion, as though she is struggling to piece together fragmented memories of a very horrific event. And a very feet away from her, a man lies unconscious, his figure limp and menacing, with subtle signs of kind of injury that were just visible from that. And she cautiously moves closer to that, gripping a sharp stick, but freezes when she hears a rustle in the distance, adding to her paranoia. And the forest generally seems alive at this point of time. Or is it towering trees and dense underbrush both a shield and a prison? After hesitating for a moment, she decides to flee, sprinting deeper into the wilderness, and her desperation evident with her every step as she takes on. The narrative generally seamlessly transitions to a series of flashbacks that reveal the woman's early life or the lady's life for this character in this film. She meets she meets the man under seemingly very innocent circumstances, a charming exchange in a coffee, or a very kind of a serendipitous meeting at a bookstore. His wit and magnetic personality pepper off her feet at the first point of time, and the relationship begins with a kind of intoxicating blend of a passion and excitement. As the bond deepens, subtle red flags begin to emerge. He need to know her whereabouts, his tendency to isolate her from friends, and his quick temper. In one chilling scene, a minor argument escalates when he smashes a glass in frustration, his smile returning moments later as if nothing happened, and the flashbacks even grow darker and darker, revealing the depth of his manipulation and her growing sense of entrapment. It was clear that she has been silently planning her kind of escape, and though the full scope of her intention remains unclear, the tension of the film really builds up because as we see the struggle of the character of the lady has been a struggle of the character of the man to find her and get his work done. Because it's like a cat and mouse game that was going on, and the film returns to the present as the woman pushes herself to navigate to the dense forest. Every snap, twig, and crunch of leaves underfoot the hills fields were amplified and adding to his. She moves quickly but terrain and the dense vegetation to mask her track. Meanwhile, the mass awakens. That is, the man awakens and groaning in pain but determined as he surveys the scene and picks up her trail. Despite his injury, his predator instinct just take over him, and he's just ready to take the predator off right off the track and begins to track her for movement and frightening precision. The film alternates between their perspective, heightening the suspense as the paths narrowly miss crossing multiple times. She attempts to use the natural obstacles to slow him down, like throwing rock into the stream to mislead him, but he remains just relentless, nothing of use to stop this man. Right here, the tension escalates when she stumbles into a clearing, realizing too late that her movements have left her exposed and forcing her to hide in a kind of hollow tree to avoid the detection. During the chase, the man finds a worn backpack that woman accidentally left behind in her haste to flee, and her rifle through it. You can see that there is a bunch of other things that he have found, so you can get a kind of clue about the woman. Just discovering a very unsettling item, that is, we can see the detailed map right there that she was carrying a different bunch of photographs of very various crime scenes, and just a random kind of clip about missing persons, and all of which suggests that she has a very history of kind of violent encounters or violent violent interpretation, violent conversation with the people. So kind of she has a very angry personality or kind of violent personality, just fighting with each and everyone. Among the items is also a kind of a special knife with dried blood, and its blood was just wrapped meticulously, implying that blood is deliberate use because it has been deliberately used. I guess the flashback intensifies generally, showing her planning for the confrontation. Her demeanor colder and was kind of a more calculated than before, just leaving too many questions behind the audience mind. The narrative really shifts here that generally forces here, the audience like you and me to just reconsider who is the true aggressor might be, or the true aggressor might be in this case. And is she just a vigilante targeting the dangerous man like him, or just see something getting more darker, or she has some kind of what you can say very god gift kind of a very dark power, or she was getting something that even we could not expect of. The man, visibly kind of unsettled by the discovery, realizes that he may be facing someone just as dangerous as himself, or even more dangerous as himself, because in some sense we can really see that girls really shines off, and very just leave the man behind. So it's kind of, you can see that his demeanor shifts from overconfidence to unease as the line between the predator and prey becomes increasingly blurred. The movie, you can see, divided into chapters, and they just appear in between to show us a kind of flashback scene. In one of the flashback scene, we can see that there's a lady, and that lady was having a kind of intercourse with the man in a hotel room, and you can see that he was just violently kind of abusing her, literally not having any kind of intercourse. So that I found really strange. And then there is a kind of violent encounter between both of them, and the lady just narrowly escapes. So you can really see the movie is really violent in some parts, and the slight gore in that scene, you can see that. And that was a kind of occasion gore right there, not too much or even needed for this kind of film. That scene, I think, was just good as it seems. The chase really builds, I guess, the climatic confrontation at a very dilapidated cabin, and its broken windows and rotting woods adding to the film's oppressive atmosphere. And the woman barricades herself inside and kind of using wall-tuned furniture to block the doors from creating the makeshift weapon from the cabin's content. When the man arrives, he encircles the cabin like he was just stalking the prey, or and taunting her with cruel remarks about her inability to escape him. As the lady was stumbled into one of the cabin in the woods, and where you can see the couple were just having dinner out of nowhere, and at first they seemed really chill, and after some time, uh, she was just locked in the kind of that refrigerator with the handcuff, as we can see. And when the man arrives, the scene really got uh, even worse, because there is a conversation between them that nearly take for 5 minutes, and there is a lot of eye contact scene between the two characters. And right after that, out of nowhere, the lady character just take out the kind of pepper spray and just attack him with that. And after attacking with that, she just kill him right there with the help of, I guess, some kind of sharp weapon, that is knife. And then she tries to just take the keys of that handcuff, which is just locked up there in that refrigerator. And after she is just successful, there is a sudden arrival of police that take place, and cops really notices that both were in the injured place, and the blood was all over on the floor itself, and there were ton of other things happening around. But when they see that the character of that man was not any much more alive, he was dead, so they try to take the lady character, the I think, to the hospital, and they just make her sat in the cop's vehicle, and then they just get her right on the track. But suddenly, out of nowhere, there were two cops generally when they were driving the vehicle. One was lady cop, and other was a male cop. So the female cops, I think she was already having gun, so she pointed out with her and pointed out at her, and she just exclaimed to her that you should get out, or maybe I must say threatened. So she get out of the car, and the car with only two passengers now, that is the driver himself, that is the male cop, and our lady killer. So they both were going on, uh, now goes on a track, and after some time we came to know that she's a kind of loop that she's just continuing, because she just kind of stops and get the help from another car. And but at the last point of time, you can see that she is just very kind of tired. And the scene really showcases there might be the end to all kind of suffering, because really the last scenes where we can see that she was sitting in a car and she was just relaxed, no movement, nothing much, just kind of smiling, and just she I mean having a kind of rest at that uh, car seat. So this is what the final films looks like. And the other was a the other passenger was also a lady. So in this way, the movie just ended. I thought it was some kind of ending, or what, that just sends a kind of a deep message that everything in this world is not temporary. The thing just changes, and you need to change too. And if any kind of predator is behind you, that you should really fight up to the last point of time. And the suspense thriller element in the film really packs the movie and just delivers outstanding performance, including the brilliant cast performance of the man as well as the lady. They really do feel like real life characters that were just trying to do a kind of unique chase in this movie, and they really felt like a kind of relatable, I guess. So it was really good. And if you like this kind of breakdown, do like and subscribe our channel Cinema Shadows for more such plot explained and breakdown videos. I think the movie structure was one of the most interesting that I have saw. I think in many of the not saw in many of the recent films. So by jumping between the past and present, the narrative keeps the audience, I think, kind of guessing, revealing key details at just the right moment. And this fragmented approach just mirror the characters' psyche, and we get to know each. I mean, the information about the character. It just expresses the kind of a duality of human nature and the fine line that is present between the victim and the perpetrator. And it really dives into the concept of the power, trauma, and agency, forcing the audience to grapple with their own perceptions of morality. It's a movie that doesn't offer any kind of easy answer, but just allow you to think on your own perspective about what is right and what is wrong. So it was really good, and it's, I think, a must watchable film. The forest in this movie just I think it seems more than a backdrop, because it's very much integral part of this. Everything that goes around in this film just happens around the forest or in the forest. So it is really a kind of very interesting thing. I think the setting really amplifies the character's psychological struggles, and just we can feel right there. While the movie station is really good, but some viewers like me might find it pacing uneven, because due to jumping past and present, so there is kind of a very setback approach of this pacing of the movie. So the slower moments that are particularly in the flashbacks occasionally really drag. So they really disrupt the films. Otherwise, the momentum was going good at some point of time in the films. And the movie's refusal to provide clear resolution on a neatly tie up its narrative thread is both a strength and kind of potential a drawback. And there is a limited character backstory, is not much we were known other than the man and lady, and that were also given a very fine description. Not much of the characters' histories were explained, so that I find really weird. Cinematography was good, direction was good by J.T. Molnar. So overall, it was really good scenes. I think the forest scenes were really striking. That just blending beauty and danger to kind of events to kind of evoke a sense of claustrophobic dread. So thank you for watching and subscribe for more.